You ever wonder why two people can go through the exact same situation and one breaks while the other breaks through? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not where they were born or what they had. It's the mind, the one thing that no one sees but controls everything you do. See, everyone wants success, peace, confidence, but most don't realize you'll never have any of it until you learn to control your mind. Your mind is either your most powerful weapon or your greatest weakness. And here's the thing, they never teach you this in school. No one warns you that your thoughts can become your prison. No one tells you that most people lose their battles not because of what's happening outside, but because of what's happening inside. In the silence, in the doubt, in the overthinking. That's where the war is. Not in the world, in you. So you keep chasing new things, new goals, new relationships, new identities, but the problem keeps following you, doesn't it? Different people, same pattern, different job, same stress. You think you're moving forward, but you're actually spinning in circles. Why? Because your outer world will never change until your inner world does. Let me tell you something you may not want to hear, but you need to. You are not tired. You are undisciplined. You are not broken. You are untrained. You are not defeated. You are distracted. Your mind has been running wild, unfiltered, unguarded, untamed. And then you wonder why peace never lasts, why fear creeps in, why you're so easily shaken, thrown off course, emotionally hijacked. You've spent your life reacting, not ruling. You've handed over the keys to your kingdom to every little trigger, every careless opinion, every voice louder than your own. And it's time to take it back. Because if you don't control your mind, someone else will, and they won't use it for your good. This isn't about being positive or faking a smile through pain. No, this is about learning to become the master of your inner world, so no storm on the outside can shake you. This is about becoming so grounded, so clear, so intentional that you no longer crumble when things don't go your way. Because you know how to command the one thing that actually matters, your mind. If you want peace, discipline, power, control, clarity, you won't find it out there. You won't find it in noise. You won't find it in applause. You'll only find it in one place, deep inside, where no one can go for you, where no one can save you but you. So the question is, are you ready to go there? Are you ready to take back the one thing that controls everything else? Because if you are, then we begin. Most people think their problems come from the world around them. They point fingers at their job, their past, their partner, their boss, or the people who betrayed them. They spend years blaming the external, never realizing the real battle isn't happening out there, it's happening right here in their own mind. It's not the situation that breaks you. It's the story you tell yourself about the situation. It's not the words people say to you, it's the way you replay those words in your head until they become your identity. Your mind is your battlefield. Every day, it's you versus you. And no one sees that war. They only see the results. They see the hesitation, the insecurity, the outbursts, the anxiety, the quitting. But they don't see the silent war you fought before all that happened. And that's what makes this battle so dangerous. Because no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to fight your thoughts for you. This is your arena, your responsibility, your fight. There's a voice in your head that always has something to say. When you wake up, it's already talking. When you try something new, it has an opinion. When you fail, it's the first one to remind you that maybe you're not good enough. That voice. It can either destroy you or develop you. The difference. Control. Most people never even realize that voice isn't always telling the truth. They think because they feel something, it must be real. They think because they're thinking it, it must be fact. But your thoughts lie. Your emotions lie. That voice inside your head, it often lies too. And if you don't learn to challenge it, it will control your entire life. Think about how many opportunities you've talked yourself out of, not because they weren't possible, but because your mind convinced you they weren't. How many people did you never approach? How many dreams did you shelf? How many times did you say, I'm not ready, when the truth is, you were just scared? The mind is powerful. If you don't take the time to understand it, shape it, and direct it, it will become your prison. You will live inside the bars of your own self-doubt. We often believe that circumstances create chaos, but the truth is, most chaos begins in the mind. You could be sitting in a peaceful room and still feel like the world is crashing down. Why? Because your thoughts won't let you breathe. You could be surrounded by love and still feel alone, because the story in your head tells you you're unworthy. You could have money, success, status, and still feel miserable, because somewhere deep inside, your mind is at war with itself. That's how powerful your inner world is. It can distort everything outside of you if it's not in order. And no, controlling your mind doesn't mean shutting off emotions or pretending everything is okay. It means becoming aware. It means learning to separate truth from noise. It means realizing that just because your mind is telling you you'll fail doesn't mean you will. That just because you feel like quitting doesn't mean that's the right move. It means giving yourself space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. It means choosing your thoughts like you choose your clothes, intentionally, wisely, and with clarity. But make no mistake, this isn't easy. Training your mind is hard work. It means you'll have to sit with uncomfortable truths. It means you'll have to face parts of yourself you've avoided for years. It means you'll have to be honest about how much control you've given away to fear, to the past, to your own excuses. It means replacing your automatic reactions with mindful responses. It means silence when you want to scream, discipline when you want to quit, persistence when it would be easier to give up. The mind doesn't get strong on its own. You have to build that strength. Day by day, thought by thought, you have to challenge the negativity, question the fear, replace the chaos with order. You have to be ruthless about what you let grow inside your head, because whatever you feed your mind, that's what multiplies. You feed it doubt, doubt will take over. You feed it focus, discipline, belief, then that becomes your armor. There's a reason why some people seem unshakable. It's not because they've never suffered. It's because they've suffered and decided not to let it own them. They've learned how to use pain as fuel. Not a prison, they've learned how to silence the noise in their mind long enough to hear their own voice. That's the goal, not to control everything around you, but to gain control over yourself, so that nothing around you has the power to steal your peace. When you understand that your mind is the battlefield, you stop wasting time fighting the wrong wars. You stop trying to change people who won't change. You stop arguing to prove your worth. You stop chasing validation. Instead, you go inward. You build resilience. You train your focus. You fight for your clarity, because that's where the real win is. Not in applause, not in trophies, not in proving the world wrong, but in proving to yourself that you can stand in the storm and not let it inside of you. And the most powerful part, once you learn to win in your mind, everything else becomes easier, because the world doesn't get easier. People don't get kinder. Life doesn't suddenly get fair. You get stronger. You stop flinching. You stop folding. You stop running. And for the first time, you realize you're not at war with the world. You were always at war with yourself. And now you're finally winning. You cannot control your mind if you are a slave to your emotions. That's the truth. And most people are. They're constantly reacting, snapping when they're angry, shutting down when they're sad, lashing out when they feel attacked. Their entire life becomes a series of emotional explosions, meltdowns, and overreactions. They don't realize that every time they lose control of their emotions, they hand over their power. They become predictable, easily manipulated, and mentally fragile. Emotional chaos is mental chaos. If your emotions are out of control, your thoughts will be too. Your mind takes direction from what you feel. And if you haven't mastered those feelings, then your mind becomes a servant, not a commander. One harsh comment, and you're spiraling for days. One failure, and you're questioning your entire worth. One moment of rejection, and you're ready to give it all up. That's not strength. That's weakness hiding behind sensitivity. Real strength is when you can feel the emotion fully, anger, sadness, shame, fear, and still choose your response. Real strength is sitting in the fire of your feelings and not letting them burn your entire life down. There's nothing wrong with emotions. Emotions are powerful. They give us depth. They make us human, but they were never meant to lead. They're messengers, not masters. The problem is, most people never learned how to manage them. They were taught to suppress them or be ruled by them. You grew up hearing don't cry or calm down or be strong, and somehow you thought that meant pretending nothing hurt. That's not emotional strength. That's denial. And denial is just bottled pain waiting to explode. Emotional mastery is about awareness first. You have to notice what you're feeling and when. Not judge it. Just observe it. Most people feel something and immediately attach to it. I'm angry, so I'll yell. I'm scared, so I'll run. I'm hurt, so I'll shut down. But emotional mastery starts with space. The space between feeling and action. The second you create space, you create choice. And the second you have a choice, you take your power back. Imagine this. Someone insults you. You feel that heat rise up, rage, embarrassment, the need to retaliate. Most people react instantly. They snap, they scream, they say something they regret. But what if you paused? Just for a second, breathed, took the hit, but didn't let it rattle your inner ground? What if you could sit with that feeling, examine it, and respond with clarity instead of chaos? That's emotional control. That's strength. Not because you're weak or passive, but because you chose to respond with intention instead of being puppeteered by your pain. And here's the truth. No one likes to admit. Emotional triggers are your responsibility. If someone can make you explode, they control you. If one comment ruins your whole day, they own you. You think that's power? That's weakness, dressed up as passion. You want real passion? Learn to channel your emotions into purpose. Learn to turn anger into action, fear into focus, pain into discipline. That's what mentally tough people do. They don't ignore their emotions, they just don't let them run the show. It's like training a wild animal. Your emotions are raw, primal, powerful, but they don't know where to go unless you direct them. If you don't train them, they'll tear through your life. They'll ruin your relationships, destroy your opportunities, and keep you stuck in cycles of regret. But if you learn to harness them, to ride the wave without drowning in it, you become untouchable. Not cold, not numb, but grounded, centered, unshakable. Think about the last time you lost it, snapped at someone, shut down or panicked. What did that cost you? Respect? Connection? A moment of peace? And was it worth it? Because that's the price you pay every time you let your emotions take the wheel. And the worst part is, the damage doesn't stop when the feeling passes. You're left cleaning up the mess of a 5-minute reaction for days, sometimes years. Now flip that. Think about the last time you stayed calm under pressure. The last time you kept your composure when everything in you wanted to explode. How powerful did you feel afterward? How clear? How proud? That's the kind of strength people remember. That's the kind of discipline that builds legacies. Emotional control isn't about being emotionless. It's about being so deeply connected to yourself that nothing can pull you out of alignment. Not disrespect, not pressure, not pain. And this isn't something you learn overnight. Emotional mastery is a practice. It takes work. It takes stillness, reflection, failure. You'll mess it up. You'll snap sometimes. You'll get overwhelmed. But if you're committed, you'll grow. You'll start to catch yourself faster. You'll begin to notice the warning signs, a tight chest, a sharp tongue, a restless mind, and you'll know it's time to slow down, breathe, and choose. You'll start to separate what's true from what's just a temporary emotional storm. Eventually, emotions stop controlling you. You start using them. Anger becomes your fuel to set boundaries. Fear becomes your invitation to grow. Sadness becomes your reminder of what matters. You stop being afraid of what you feel, and instead, you start transforming it. Because here's the bottom line. If you can't master your emotions, you will never master your mind. And if you can't master your mind, you will never master your life. You'll keep reacting instead of responding, surviving instead of leading, and breaking instead of building. But the moment you decide that your peace is more important than your pride, that your purpose is bigger than your pain, that's the moment you stop being controlled and start becoming unstoppable. The world isn't going to get softer. People aren't going to get kinder. Life isn't going to stop testing you. So you have a choice. Stay emotionally impulsive and keep getting pulled under, or rise above the waves and command the storm. Your mind will follow wherever your emotions lead. Make sure they're going somewhere worth going. Discipline is not punishment. It's not restriction. It's not about being hard on yourself just for the sake of suffering. Discipline is language. It's the way you train your mind to listen to you. It's the way you build a relationship between your desires and your actions, between who you are now and who you want to become. People say they want to control their mind. They want clarity, confidence, strength, but the mind doesn't obey talk. It obeys action, repetition, structure. You can't just say you want to be better. You have to live better consistently. That's where discipline comes in. You don't get mental strength by hoping for it. You earn it by doing what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because feelings are fickle. Motivation is inconsistent. But discipline is loyal. It shows up when you don't want to. It speaks for you when the excuses get loud. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. The stronger that pattern becomes, the more your mind begins to trust you. And once your mind trusts you, it listens. It follows. It aligns. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a wild horse. Powerful, fast, full of potential, but without direction, it will run you into destruction. Discipline is the reins. It's the quiet voice that says, we don't skip the work just because we're tired. We don't make decisions just because we're emotional. We don't quit just because it's hard. It's structure. It's standards. It's what separates those who talk about change and those who live it. Most people don't lack intelligence or talent. They lack discipline. They want the reward, but not the repetition. They want the success, but not the systems. They want the confidence, but not the consistency. But the mind doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you do. You tell yourself every day what matters to you by what you prioritize, by what you allow, by what you tolerate. You teach your mind whether your words are real or just noise. You say you want peace, but do you protect your routines? You say you want strength, but do you push through resistance? You say you want freedom, but do you keep the promises you make to yourself? Because every time you break a promise to yourself, your mind notices. It stops believing you. It starts lowering the bar. And that's how people fall into cycles of self-sabotage. They train their minds to expect failure by never showing up when it counts. But here's the beautiful part. You can retrain your mind. You can rewrite the story, one disciplined action at a time. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. You just need to start with one non-negotiable. Wake up when you said you would. Keep that boundary. Finish that task. Get through the workout. The more you do it, the more your mind learns that you mean what you say. And that belief is where true confidence comes from. Not from hype or fake positivity, but from evidence. From doing the hard things over and over until they become who you are. Discipline also simplifies your life. It removes decision fatigue. It removes chaos. When you build systems, routines, and boundaries, you stop wasting mental energy on petty decisions. You know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when it's getting done. That clarity creates space for creativity, focus, and peace. You're no longer reacting to life, you're leading it. But let's be real, discipline isn't glamorous, it's not always inspiring. It's lonely sometimes, boring even. You'll wake up some days and want to quit. You'll have to sacrifice comfort, delay gratification, say no when it's easier to say yes. But that's the cost of greatness. That's the investment required to earn a mind that works for you, not against you. You're not just training your habits, you're reprogramming your identity. You're telling yourself, this is who I am now. I don't fold when it gets tough. I don't negotiate with laziness. I show up, always. You want a strong mind? Stop negotiating. Stop waiting to feel like it. Discipline isn't about how you feel. It's about doing what needs to be done, whether you're excited, tired, sad, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. The more you do it, the less your emotions control you. You start becoming the kind of person who gets things done regardless of circumstance. That's power. That's freedom. That's mental control. And the truth is, discipline will give you things motivation never could. Motivation will get you started. Discipline will keep you going. Motivation will hype you up. Discipline will ground you. Motivation fades when life punches you in the face. Discipline gets up anyway. That's what your mind respects. Not inspiration, consistency, not feelings. Follow through. So the next time you don't feel like doing what you know you need to do, remember this. Your mind is watching. It's listening. Every excuse you entertain teaches it weakness. Every action you take reinforces strength. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional, consistent, committed. Even on the days it's hard, especially on those days. Because at the end of the day, control is earned, power is earned, peace is earned through daily, disciplined choices. Through small moments of integrity that add up to a life you're proud of. That's how you get your mind to obey. That's how you build mental toughness, not all at once, but step by disciplined step, until you look back one day and realize your mind no longer controls you. You control it, and that changes everything. If you don't take control of your thoughts, someone else will. That's not a maybe, it's a fact. Your mind is constantly being shaped, whether you're aware of it or not. Every ad you scroll past, every conversation you engage in, every piece of media you consume, it's all feeding your brain, shaping your beliefs, rewiring your mindset. And if you're not the one intentionally doing the shaping, then the world is doing it for you. And trust this, the world isn't training you to be strong. It's training you to be compliant, distracted, fearful, and dependent. That's why you must take back control. That's why you must train your thoughts. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant what you want to grow, weeds will take over. Thoughts are seeds. Left unchecked, the toxic ones will multiply. You don't have to try to think negatively. Your brain will do that on its own. That's survival instinct. That's the human condition. But if you want clarity, peace, strength, focus, you have to train for it. You have to be deliberate about what you let in, because your thoughts become your beliefs shape your behaviors, and your behaviors determine your outcomes. Everything starts with what you allow to live inside your mind. And most people, they've let the world fill their minds with noise. Social media, news cycles, gossip, opinions, judgments. They're constantly scrolling, consuming, absorbing, and then they wonder why they feel anxious, overwhelmed, and unsure of who they are. They haven't trained their thoughts. They've outsourced their thinking to the loudest voices in the room. And loud doesn't mean true. Repeated doesn't mean right. Just because the world keeps shouting something at you doesn't mean it's worth believing. You have to stop consuming by default and start thinking by design. What do you read? Who do you listen to? What do you feed your mind first thing in the morning? And right before you go to bed? Do you give your mind any space to breathe, to reflect, to think for itself? Or is it just reacting all day long to what the world throws at it? Because if you don't train your mind, the world will train it for you. And the world's training. It's meant to keep you small, meek, confused, always looking outside for answers instead of looking within. Your thoughts are habits. They're patterns. You think the same way every day without even realizing it. And most of those thought patterns weren't consciously chosen. They were picked up from childhood, from trauma, from society, from comparison, from rejection. That voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough, you didn't choose that," it was trained into you. So now the real work begins. untraining the noise, retraining the truth. This doesn't happen on accident. It takes effort. It takes repetition. You have to speak the truth, even when the lie feels louder. You have to feed your mind the right input until it becomes your natural default. You have to intentionally program your mindset every single day. And I'm not talking about wishful thinking or fake positivity. I'm talking about disciplined mental conditioning, affirmations, yes, but not shallow ones. Deep, specific, rooted statements that reinforce who you are and who you are becoming. Visualization, journaling, silence. These aren't trends. They're tools. Tools to train your thoughts. Because if you don't direct your thinking, you will always be a slave to someone else's vision. And that's the trap. That's how people stay stuck. They never question the thoughts they live by. They never stop to ask, is this belief even mine? Or was it planted there by someone who benefited from me staying small? Let's be clear, this isn't about control in a manipulative way. This is about taking ownership. No one can do this work for you. No one can rewire your brain, but you. You want confidence? You have to train your thoughts to focus on your strengths, your growth, your capacity. You want peace. You have to discipline your mind to stay present, to filter out the noise, to stop running to worst-case scenarios. You want clarity? You have to slow down your thinking, separate fact from fear, and ask better questions. Every time you catch a toxic thought and challenge it, you train your mind. Every time you reframe a setback as a lesson instead of a loss, you train your mind. Every time you stop chasing external validation and anchor your identity internally, you train your mind. That's the daily work. That's how you build a mindset that serves you instead of sabotages you. And the people who master this, they're different. You can feel it. They walk into a room with certainty. They don't chase attention. They don't crumble under pressure. They move with intention because they know who they are, and more importantly, they know how to guide their mind. That's not arrogance. That's training. That's hours of doing the internal work that no one sees. That's what makes them unshakable. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take back control. One thought at a time. You don't need to believe everything your mind says. In fact, most of what it says is old programming. If it's not serving you, rewire it. If it's keeping you stuck, release it. If it's making you shrink, challenge it. You have the authority. You have the ability. You just need the awareness and the discipline. The world is loud. The world is fast. And the world will keep trying to train you into passivity, into self-doubt, into mental chaos. But you're not here to be trained by the world. You're here to train your thoughts, rule your mind, and build a life that reflects the power and clarity inside you. Because once you master your thinking, the game changes. You stop chasing, you stop breaking, you stop running, you start leading from within. Train your thoughts, or be trained by the world. It's that simple. And it's that serious. A controlled mind is a force nothing can break. Not failure, not loss, not betrayal, not fear. It's the foundation of mental toughness, the difference between someone who falls apart and someone who rises again and again, no matter what life throws their way. When you have control over your mind, you have control over your emotions, your energy, your focus, your reactions. You become untouchable, not because life stops challenging you, but because nothing can shake your foundation. And that kind of power isn't given. It's built. It's trained. It's earned. One decision, one moment, one thought at a time. Control doesn't mean you never feel things. Doesn't mean you don't get upset, angry, or afraid. It means you don't live in those emotions. You feel them, you understand them, but you don't let them hijack your behavior. You don't let them run your life. And that's rare. Most people are reactive. One wrong word and they explode. One delay and they fall apart. One failure and they question everything. That's not strength. That's instability. That's what happens when your mind runs you instead of you running your mind. A controlled mind is like a trained warrior. It's steady under pressure, sharp in chaos, and focused when everything around it is falling apart. That kind of mind doesn't get manipulated easily. It's not desperate for validation. It doesn't chase approval. It knows who it is. It knows where it's going. It doesn't fold under stress. It sharpens. And that's what makes it unstoppable. When your mind is controlled, your energy becomes directed. You're no longer scattered or distracted. You don't waste time obsessing over things you can't control, replaying past failures, or worrying about other people's opinions. You put that energy into building, creating, growing. You become laser focused, intentional, clear. And in a world where most people are mentally overwhelmed, distracted, and emotionally exhausted, clarity is a weapon. But you don't get that kind of clarity by accident. You have to work for it. You have to guard your mind like it's sacred, because it is. Every thought you entertain, every voice you let in, every belief you allow to take root, it's all shaping your reality. You want power. Filter your thoughts. You want peace. Control your focus. You want freedom? Get disciplined, because the more you control your inner world, the less the outer world can control you. And let's talk about pressure, because life will pressure you. Things will fall apart. People will disappoint you. Plans won't work out. If your peace is based on everything going right, you'll never have peace. But if your mind is trained, if it's rooted, then you stay steady, no matter what. That's power. Not the kind that shows off, but the kind that holds its ground. The kind of power that walks into chaos and brings order with it. People with controlled minds don't panic when things go wrong. They don't need to scream to prove they're strong. Their strength is silent. It's internal. It's unshakable. You can see it in the way they respond, not react. In the way they endure, not escape. In the way they keep showing up. No matter what tried to stop them, that kind of power is rare because it takes work. It takes intention. It takes a deep commitment to never be a slave to your impulses again. And yes, it's hard. It's hard to sit in discomfort without reacting. It's hard to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. It's hard to resist the temptation to lash out, to give up, to numb out. But every time you choose control over chaos, you get stronger. You prove to yourself that you're in charge. Not your triggers, not your fears, not your emotions. You. That's how you build resilience. That's how you become dangerous in the best way possible. Because nothing outside of you can break you anymore. That kind of mind creates space. Space to think. Space to choose. Space to lead. When you're not constantly reacting to life, you begin to create life. You start shaping your environment instead of being shaped by it. You start making decisions that serve your future instead of your emotions. You stop being a prisoner of circumstance and you become a leader of your own destiny. A controlled mind also brings peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't depend on silence or solitude. The kind that stays with you even when everything around you is loud. Because peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of control. It's knowing that no matter what happens out there, you have the tools to handle it in here. That confidence, it's built. And once you have it, it shows up in everything you do, in your relationships, in your work, in your habits, in your decisions. People will notice. They'll wonder why you don't react like you used to, why you're calmer, why you don't argue back, why you don't chase things that used to break you. It's not arrogance, it's ownership. You're not here to play the same games. You've trained for this. You've chosen clarity over chaos, peace over pride, discipline over drama. And now you move differently. Speak differently. Think differently. That's what a controlled mind does. It transforms everything, not just how you feel, but how you move, how you lead, how you live. It becomes your foundation, your filter, your fire. And when you reach that level, you don't need to prove your power. Your presence speaks for itself. So take control. Train your mind until it obeys, until it doesn't flinch, until it doesn't fold. Because when you master your mind, nothing owns you. Not people, not pressure, not fear. You become the storm. You become the calm. you become unstoppable. Let's be clear. Everything you want in life starts in your mind. Your peace, your power, your purpose, your progress. It all begins with what you think, how you think, and whether or not you are in control of that thinking. The world will keep trying to distract you, to divide your attention, to pull you into noise, fear, and chaos. But you weren't made to live at the mercy of your emotions, or under the weight of every outside pressure. You were made to lead yourself, to rise above, to command your thoughts and direct your energy with intention. Control over your mind is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It's not optional if you want to live fully, love deeply, and lead powerfully. And it's not something someone gives you. It's something you take daily, repeatedly, relentlessly, through action, through discipline, through self-awareness, and emotional mastery. Because the truth is, if you don't lead your mind, it will lead you, and it will lead you straight into insecurity, anxiety, regret, and mediocrity. But if you take the reins, if you wake up every day and choose focus over distraction, discipline over comfort, response over reaction, everything changes. You gain clarity in the confusion, strength in the struggle, calm in the storm, and you stop being controlled by what happens around you because you've mastered what happens within you. So no more waiting, no more excuses, no more letting the world train your mind. Now is the time to take it back, to own your focus, to sharpen your thoughts, to choose the life you were built for, one of power, purpose, and inner control. Because once your mind is yours, fully and completely, you become unstoppable. And nothing can break what's built from within.